We all have intellectual property. There is something valuable. You have knowledge, you have insight, you have ideas that can be put in the form of a book, right? Intellectual property can be anything that is yours personally that you have put pen to paper. So it's defined as a work or invention that is a result of creativity, your creativity, such as a transcript or a design to which one has rights.
Noelle. Yeah, she can fix that. You gotta get it done, or you need to do it better. Well, she can fix that. Yeah, she can fix that. Investment to get back, trying to get a big stack. She can fix that. Let's fix that.
I am so excited to be here with Dr. Sherrie of Walton Publishing. She is actually my book publisher, helped me with my Amazon best-selling book that just came out, 𝗕𝗲𝗯𝗹𝗶. I am so excited to have you here today, Dr. Sherrie. We're going to have a great conversation on how other people can make lots of money selling books too. This is not just a Noelle thing. Any author can actually write a book and you can help with that. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I love being on this YouTube page. It's like my second time, right?
Yes, it is. And we love having you. Known you for years. You're an absolute gem, a wealth of knowledge, amazing publisher, amazing woman. I actually remember meeting you when we spoke on stage. We'll talk about that in just a little bit, but this is a great opportunity. We're in a great time where people can actually write their own book. It doesn't have to take months. It doesn't have to cost millions of dollars, and they actually can make a profit. I've literally have made millions selling my books, and I think you're going to share some great information on how other people can do the exact same thing.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to jump on in because I know that everyone that comes to your page, they're ready to take notes. They're ready to jump in. So we're not going to do a lot of fluff.
I give them all of the knowledge that they need. So you are going to give them and share all of the gems, everything that you have taught me. I am here for you to teach everybody else because I think each one teach one. We all win together. So this is exciting.
Absolutely. So like I said, we're going to jump in. And as you already said, I am on a mission to help more people amplify their voice by writing their book. And I believe that there is a story in each of us, there is a story that each of us has that can impact the lives of others. And it's just, sometimes we just need that confidence, that sometimes we just need someone to tell us like, yes, you can do it. And so what this call is about today. Yes, you can do it. Before we're even done with the end of the year, a lot of people have said they wanted to write a book. A lot of people have put this on their vision board and they said they want to get it done. Well, we're going to talk about how to get it done very easily. And, it used to take years to write books. The people used to take 4, 5, 6 years to write books. Now people are being able to write books in 60 days, 90 days, So we're going to talk about that today. So I'm going to share my screen and dive on in so that we can get started. Okay, and just give me one moment as I am putting this together. And I just want to say in advance, so I am in the lovely island of Barbados, the Caribbean. And sometimes we get a little bit of lag on our Wi-Fi. So please bear with me. So just know that, I'm living my best life in the sun, but just in case.
One of your terrible sacrifices you have to make for living in the Caribbean.
Just in case, I just want to give you that heads up. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So just give me a nod if you can see my screen here while it's uploading. Let me know when we're good to go so I can get started with that.
Okay, there you go. Can see your screen.
Oh, awesome. So today we're going to talk about building your brand with your intellectual property, your IP. And I want to tell you a little bit about myself, just very briefly, right? I started this journey of helping women and people write their books back in 2018. And over that time, I have been blessed where I've been able to travel around the world. And this is the impact of writing books. This is the impact of telling your story. So at the top, right, you'll see this is one of my retreats in Barbados. When I tell people becoming an author allows you to travel and work anywhere in the world, I really do mean it. So I believe in being an example, right? Practicing what I preach. So that is me at the top right. At the bottom left, that is me in Guangzhou, China. I am
Ooh.
traveling for my clients. We had a book release in China, so I was able to go and lecture at one of the universities there, be a part of her book release. And I have to tell you that she had, I believe she was 62 or 63 at the time. She had been wanting to write a book for so long, and we were able to come together and get it done. So that's a picture of me kind of just like flossing in front of the banner at her event, right? And at the bottom right is me with my Power Moms. I have a movement where I not only just help women, I help moms, I help men, but moms have my heart. And I know you and I connected there, Noelle. We're both moms. And
Right.
I started this movement helping moms tell their books and tell their stories in compilation books. And this is for women that weren't ready to actually write their full book or tell their entire story just yet. So I taught them how to write a chapter in the book to build a brand. And we're going to talk a little bit about that later.
I love that.
So what is intellectual property? You know, in the day of AI, everybody's talking, using these words, intellectual property and artificial intelligence and all these things. So simply put, we all have intellectual property. There is something valuable. You have knowledge, you have insight, you have ideas that can be put in the form of a book, even a song, right? Yeah. Intellectual property can be anything that is yours personally, that you have put pen to paper, something that you have put together is your intellectual property. So it's defined as a work or invention that is a result of creativity, your creativity, such as a transcript or a design to which one has rights. And you're like, okay, so what does this have to do with books? I'm going to tell you why it's so important that we first start to establish what intellectual property is and why I am just singing from the mountaintops that I want you to understand the value of your intellectual property. IP has skyrocketed in the last 10 years, increasing from 15 billion, and that's billion in 1990 to more than 110 billion today.
Wow.
Now I want to just slow down a bit because I know I can talk fast and sometimes I can go from, idea from point to point. I want you to think about that.
Yeah.
You have intellectual property, creativity, things that you need to write and say on the inside of you. And if you just tap into that, you can tap into the $110 billion industry.
Wow. Yeah.
And so when you say it, well, everybody's writing books or everybody's telling their story, or I don't want to do it because everyone else is doing it. And I'm like, do you think there's still room in this pool for you?
Yeah, exactly. It's like an ocean, and people are just going in and getting one little cup. Just because I have a book, this is the ocean of water. Or when I wrote my one little book, I just took a little cup. There's still so much more available.
So much more available, and it's growing because people are going online to learn. People are looking for new information. And even if you say, okay, well, I want to write about something that people have already written about, you have a different insight on it. You have a different approach to it. So this will never be full. This pool, like you just said,
because there's only one you. Exactly. Each author is their own individual, unique person with their own perspective. And that's one of the things that I had to learn because I was hesitant. And you remember to say that I could write a book because, other people had a book. John Maxwell, I've read all of his books. He has 12 of them on leadership. What am I going to say? A lot. And people were really interested what I had to say versus what John Maxwell has to say, for example. So you're right. It's almost infinite because people can read books. Readers are leaders. I know people that read 100 books a year.
Easily.
Yeah.
And if you want to grow, you need to read, right? Exactly. So you're always, even if you've read 10 of John Maxwell's books on leadership, he has not been in every office. He has not been in every room. So there are places that you've been that you can have your experience of leadership on. So this is what I love about this, Noelle. And I know one of the things that you're always pushing with your clients and those that are a part of what you're doing, you're like, find your voice, find the uniqueness of you, right? And don't ever feel as if you're too small. Don't ever feel as if your experience are insignificant, right?
Right.
So let's talk about the global book market. So that's why I'm here. I'm a publisher. I will always talk about writing books, whether it is an ebook, whether you turn it into an audio book, whether you have a physical book. I am always going to promote books because the global book market size is still being valued in the billions of dollars, valued at $144.67 billion in 2023, and it's expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate.
Wow.
So why I am saying this, I'm telling you, when we talk about creating multiple streams of income, we talk about growing your wealth. And I know you just did an amazing event a few weeks ago, Noelle, about growing your wealth. When we talk about growing your wealth, I want you to think about every part of you that contains wealth. Yeah. Knowledge is wealth.
It is.
Information that you have is also wealth. So as you say, okay, she's starting to talk, and I hope I'm starting to get you a little bit. One, I want you to be uncomfortable. I want you to say, like, why the heck have I not written this book yet? Why have I been sitting on all of this content? I know that I have 20 years in a particular industry, 5 years in a particular industry. Why haven't I not come forward yet? Well, we're going to build your confidence because somehow you believe that the books that are written about already out there is already doing the work. No. And Noelle, you touched a little bit earlier about how we connected and when you had already written a book before we met and how we just really started to come together because there were so many books on the inside of you. When I met you had written a book. Yeah. How many books have you written?
I had written, it's funny. I kind of was embarrassed to show you my tiny little book I had. And I was just using it more like, okay, here's a small introduction to me because quite frankly, like you said, I saw myself as small. I didn't see this big person that was available that somebody may see today. I didn't see that inside of me. So I was like, I'll write a little book because I'm a little person. And then you were like, no, you're a big person with a lot of stuff. And then in fact, we wrote like 5 books together just off of that. So it is incredible how somebody like you can just encourage and really pull books out of people because they're inside of us already with the life that we've lived.
Yeah. And that's what I love about what I'm doing. I'm not recreating the wheel. I'm literally helping you go and find the gold that's already on the inside of you.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like you said, we need, and the environment is so important. Who we listen to is so important. Who we surround ourselves with is so important because I was able to see like, oh my gosh, girlfriend, you have so much on the inside
you're awesome.
of you.
I was like, you think? I thought, 12 pages awesome. You're like, no, 250 page awesome.
Easy. But you did it, right? And so we're talking because a book can change your life. It can change your business. It can change the path that you're on. And you say, how so? Well, I talked earlier when I first started talking about my experience and those that I've worked with. A book has allowed me to travel around the world just because I was brave enough to tell my story. There were doors that opened for me. I was able to go to China. I've been to Dubai. I'm here now in Barbados. And these books that I have, they are now able to put me in rooms before my voice was even able to enter. Does that make sense? Like even before I was able to step into these rooms, my words had preceded me. Yeah. And this is when you talk about in a marketplace where we are right now. And so many people are saying it's such a crowded and oversaturated. Real estate is over. This is that. No, there's still a lane for you. No matter how many people are there, there's still a lane for you to open and use your voice to connect into those rooms and allow it to change your life. Yeah. So as you're listening to me, I want you to just really start saying to yourself, a book will change my life. Telling my story will change my life.
It will.
How? How does telling your story change your life? Well, we always say that people do business with what? Those that they like and trust, right? when people can connect to you, when people feel as if they can relate to you, and even if you've never met them before, and I know, Noelle, you can attest to this, and like I said, I've been to some of your live events, people feel as if they have known you for years.
Yes, because they read my book and they know my story. You're so right. It is such a, it has been one of the best. Like I said, we'll talk about this in just a second. Yes, you will make money selling your books, and we'll talk about that in a second. But the credibility, the trust, and the likability, all three of those things, when someone reads your book, even if they don't finish the book, they feel connected to you in so many ways that nothing else could do. Nothing else.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about that connection. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a moment because I do like to, let's figure out how I can do this. I do like to be able to, let me know when you can no longer see.
Yeah, you're good.
Can you still see the screen?
Nope.
Can you see me?
Just you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So let's have a conversation. Because like I said, I know when I get into the thicket of things and I'm moving and I'm telling you all the things that you can do, this is a moment where we just really need to have a heart-to-heart conversation about the people that are waiting for us to show up. The people that are waiting, like their lives literally will be changed and transformed because we continue to tell our story. Right. And I remember when the first time I told my story from the stage, very interesting. And Noelle, you know my story. I talk about how my family and I went through homelessness. But before it was cool. Like it seems like everybody's talking about
right. People live in vans and stuff. Right.
And it was actually embarrassing to say, okay, yeah. So back in 2014, so this is 10 years ago, my family went through this time where we lost everything. My business had crashed. I was so embarrassed. I felt helpless. And that one moment that I had to register my son in elementary school as a homeless child, oh man, that really hurt me. And I remember the first time I sat with that story for probably almost 2 years. After we had come out of it, I still felt so ashamed. I was so embarrassed by my story because I had, before we went through this, I was doing celebrity events. I felt I was on top of the world. I'm on South Beach. I'm traveling. I'm doing all these multi-million-dollar weddings and events, only to get down to the point now that I'm actually living in a motel.
Yeah.
And so when I went through that experience, I never wanted anyone to know because I knew that they were going to point their fingers and they were going to judge me. So I put together, a few years after that, I put together something called the Mommy and Me Dream Bigger Tour. And what I did was I brought women and children together to help them understand the importance of living a life of vision and dreams. And as I stood on that stage in Houston, Texas, not really knowing anyone in that room, I told them that my family and I had experienced homelessness just a year before that event. You can hear a pin drop in the room. But before I knew it, people started to stand up and they started to clap. And tears were rolling down people's eyes because they started to understand, wait a minute, I'm not the only one experiencing trials and tribulations. Right. I'm not the only one experiencing hard times, and your story may not be my story, but you have been through something. We all have been through something. And that's what I love, even when I connected with you, Noelle, and you started to tell your story about being in the basement. And you started to tell your story of what that looked like. Now, when we first met, we didn't initially talk about that story.
Right. No, not at all.
But as you started to tell that story, I saw your channel grow.
Yeah.
Because people connected to the authenticity of you. Like, we're not these perfect people on the other side of the screen that have it all together.
Right. We've been through some ish.
We've been through it. And we still go through things because we're human. But the beautiful part of this is now we've learned the lessons. And this is what the story brings. It's not just about all of the bad things and the heartaches. It's about what did you learn in the process. Right. It's about who did you become in the process. Right. It's about now, how do you use this story to impact others? Yeah. And it was because I experienced what I did that I was actually able to connect with you, because a year later, I built up my confidence to really stand in front of a stage again.
Yeah. So because that's how I met you. You were standing on stage and you said you told a very powerful story. And you're right. I immediately connected with you. I saw you as a person. I started to understand, because again, when you're a person standing on stage and you're in the audience, there feels like this gap. between you two. But like you said, knowing and getting into your story and owning it too. And just like, I'm not embarrassed. I know there's a lesson here. And that is, like you said, it can't even put into words how powerful that is.
Absolutely. And this is why we're coming together, because I know this isn't a traditional, topic for your page, right?
Right.
But the thing is, like we said, learning to tell your story actually builds your confidence in business. I can't even, it builds your confidence. So when you're going out for those real estate deals, you literally learn not to take anything personal. When you understand the value of your story, you start to just understand things happen. There are no's. People don't always accept what you say, and that's okay, right? So this is one of the things I think people have not made that correlation in telling your story, writing a book, because it's more about who you become in the process.
Right. Yeah.
It's about connecting with those. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And like you said, one of the things too that it brings out of you is what that vulnerability is, your real story. And all of a sudden, when you start to be able to express that, and for some people, they can express it verbally on a stage, but for some of us, it does have to kind of be written down and in a book first, and then we'll get that confidence. So either way, when it comes out, it really like fills in the brand. We come up with these things like, oh, what's my brand color and what's my brand about and what's my tagline? But once you actually have defined who you are and what you've been through and what your value now is to the marketplace, baby, you are unstoppable.
You're unstoppable. You're unstoppable. I was talking to my team one day, and they said, you're not afraid of no's. You're not afraid of the rejection, because I've been through too much. Right. So I'm not moved by someone else could be having a bad day.
Exactly. I used to live in a basement. This is nothing.
And being okay with it, you know what I mean? Yeah. And we'll talk more about it, as we get deeper into it. But I just wanted to come off of the presentation for a moment to have the conversation, because a lot of times we're not hearing people tell us it's okay. Right. Your story, your trials, whatever you have been through, it's okay. Yeah, you survived. You're here today, right? So you overcame that.
You should be sharing that story. Somebody is going to get value out of it. You'll be shocked. There are billions of people on earth. Even if 1 million people wrote a book, there's still, 1,000 million people to sell it to. So you don't even worry about that. There are people that are going to connect to you, your story, and the information that you have. So I love it. Yes, that was you're right. That was good. Like, let's get away from the presentation for a second and just, like you said, talk to your heart, because it truly is people not realizing that they can do it. You can do it. It is in you. You should do it. Do it. Do it. It's just one life. We're all going to die. Tell your story.
Tell your story. So we're going to go back to the presentation. But while I am pulling that up, I wanted to say your very last book that we wrote together, you told a lot more of your story.
I did. And you pulled that out of me, because our first books were all about everybody knows real estate millionaire secrets, business millionaire secrets, B&B millionaire secrets, Toro millionaire secrets. So just business, entities, business industries that I have made millions of dollars in. I did tell a little bit of my story in each of those books, just to kind of so you could understand where this knowledge and these tricks and these secrets came from. But this last one really just, I was really going deep about, how and like what, because people are just always amazed at, like, what is the secret? I'm like, the secret is that I just chose me, and I just kept choosing me, and I just stuck to me. And that was it. And yes, I have kids. And yes, I have a husband. Yes, I got a mama and a daddy. But it was just like, what does Noelle want?
Yeah. Yeah. The power of your voice.
Yeah.
The power. Yeah. Look, I'm always ready to cheer. I have to contain myself. Okay, but let me go ahead and go back to the presentation here. Okay, so let's talk about the key. Let's talk about some keys. You are the key. And that's why there's not a lot of words surrounding this key. I want you to just really start to understand you are the key. And what does that mean? I have something where I always encourage you to understand that you are the solution to someone's problem. You are the solution. Your voice, your experience, you are the solution. So as we're going to just really sit here and talk about some of the keys to help you, because we mentioned earlier, we want to make sure that you have what you need. So if you decide from today, which I really hope you do, that you are ready to come forward with your story, you're ready to talk about it, I want to give you some keys that you are going to need in order to do that. The first thing is clarity. Clarity in your story, clarity in your voice. And I like when I use the word clarity, I think about it in this way. Generally, when I am talking to people and I may say, hey, tell me a little bit about you, I find that they go all over the place. For about 20 minutes, they're talking about something. And before I know it, they're talking about their husband, the dog, the children. And I'm like, okay, but tell me about you.
Yeah.
And it's so difficult for so many people to really just sit and hone in on themselves, to understand their story, to understand their voice. So the first place I want you to start off with is clarity. Clarity about who you are. Clarity about your whys. Clarity about the things that you enjoy. Clarity about you. And that may take you some time. That may take some time for you to really start to just unwind, because we're so used to putting everyone else in front of ourselves that a lot of times we don't think about us. So when you're talking about putting your story, helping someone, you first got to be clear about who you are. You got to be clear about the story that you're going to tell. And you have to be clear about the solution that you bring to the marketplace. Now you say, well, I don't know, what type of solution can I bring? Anything that you've been doing successfully for the past 5 years, I would say you're moving into expert range.
Right.
And it doesn't necessarily just may mean a profession. It may even mean in the last 5 years, you have really found out wonderful ways to organize your home so that your family is not all over the place. And trust me, Noelle and I would buy that book from you.
For real. And I have bought a parenting book. I bought an organization book. My son, I've shared this. My son is autistic. I can't tell you how many books I have read on that from parents that had an autistic child. So valuable. Just, you can't even keep going.
And this is what I talk to people and they say, well, I don't know what I would write about. I don't know if I have anything to write about. I'm like, everyone has something to write about. I want to probably just go back here to this slide. This is one of my amazing clients. Her name is Dr. Natasha Hampton. And she and I connected on LinkedIn. And on LinkedIn, I reached out to her one day because I like to market myself and my business. And she didn't know about me, so I introduced myself to her in her DM. so I introduced myself to Dr. Natasha, and I mentioned to her about writing a book. And she was like, what would I write a book on? And I'm like, leadership. And where would I get that from? Well, I just read her bio. I read the resume that was attached to LinkedIn, and everything she was doing, she was in a leadership position, assistant city managers. And why wouldn't you write about leadership?
Yeah, she's amazing. Yes.
She is amazing. So after we've written 2 books together. We'll probably be working on another project soon. And after we wrote the book together, she then wrote the book called High Heel Leadership. She went on to create an entire brand. Although she was still working, she was doing consulting, she was working her 9 to 5. She still was able to establish a brand that she then turned into a consultancy, helping people understand what it's like to lead women. What women need in leadership. So high heel leadership, obviously men are generally not reading it unless they're wanting to help the women in their lives. But this was her particular brand because she always wears her red bottom shoes. So she wrote a book and connected to her brand.
And that's her brand.
And that's her brand.
I love
doors opened in China for her. She was traveling to Dubai. There's so many doors that have opened since she wrote her book. So don't tell me you don't have anything to write about.
Right.
The experiences that she had in her governmental position, she was able to turn into a leadership book that now is turned into a manual where people are booking her as keynote speaker. Did you hear me?
Wow.
A keynote speaker on something that she already did. She did not have to go get another certificate. She did not have to go and get another degree because I'm just going to start breaking down some of these things you tell yourself. Like, well, I'm not certified in leadership, so how can I teach on it? Your experience has certified you.
Right. Yeah, and there's no particular degree you need. There's no, yes, she's a doctor and she has her doctorate and she's amazing, but please believe that is not necessary. Noelle don't have no PhD. I have people that have barely have high school diplomas and have best-selling books. So that's another thing. But again, she was amazing, and most people are amazing. They just really aren't giving themselves credit for the different things that they've done. So I love this example. She is amazing.
She is. And when she became an Amazon bestseller, and I just want to drop this, she didn't have a PhD.
Okay.
So no, but even with myself, the time
more evidence of what Noelle said. Not needed.
Not needed. People want answers. They can care less about the certificates that are on your wall. I just want to add that there. Okay.
Good point.
So let's go ahead and keep talking about the keys. So I'm going to come off of my screen for 1 second. Like you said, I generally like to be in the room with people. So when I come off of my screens, I like to touch you. I like to make sure that you are following along what I'm saying. So by now, and just as we're moving, we've been in this, I want you to now have some notes in front of you. Right. You should be saying to yourself, what is it that I can write about that can bring impact to others?
I love that. That's a great thing too. Actually, if you're watching this on YouTube, chat, put that in the chat. I would love to have the conversation. Tell me some of the ideas that you have. You know what I mean? I've met so many of my subscribers and people that watch my channel, and I tell you, baby, they are amazing. People are like, oh, you're so amazing. They start telling me about themselves, and I'm like, that's a wonderful idea. That's a good idea. This is amazing. You're this, and just so many people have great things. So comment below. Let's have a conversation, because you're right. People should be writing that down. And I'm sure some of you have already thought of what you want to write a book about.
Yeah. And now another thing, and I'm the queen of homework, so I'm always going to make sure you guys have homework when you go. I want you to write down 3 solutions that you bring for that topic.
Love that.
So let's say, like we talked about earlier with parenting, what are 3 solutions that you can bring to help someone that is having a problem that you are solving? Remember, everything that you do is bringing a solution to someone.
Yeah.
So you say, okay, well, what does this look like? So let's say, for example, for the last 5 years, I don't know why I'm on this parenting and mom thing today, but let's just say for 5 years, people have been coming up to you saying, how do you stay so organized? How do your children always look so healthy and well put together? What is it that you do? And you say, oh, that's simple. On Sunday, I meal prep. I go to the store on Saturday. I may have food delivered to the house. I have an order. I put a menu together. I put it on the refrigerator, and we do our shopping that way. That, my friend, is a solution.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And you'll be shocked. I mean, I could tell you another example too of somebody was telling me just even different careers that people has had. And they may be like, oh, I don't make $1 million in my career, but I'm an engineer. And you, for example, and you could write an entire book on what type of engineer, different schools that you went to, how you got into college, what programs. I mean, just so many different things. It doesn't have to be, like you said, it can range from cooking, cleaning, parenting, new ideas that you have. You can write books about, if you were to, all jokes aside, about crystals and which crystal give you which energy, and like it is endless. It is limitless on the different topics and problems that you can solve with your knowledge. Like I said, the crystal example was about just energy and how to stay calm. And, when you're in this situation, you get this energy and you say this prayer. And I found that to be very, very valuable.
There's so many solutions, like you said, when you think about it that way, because what I like about it, when I have people really sit down and think about their book ideas, they have everyday solutions that they don't even realize are solutions.
Right.
Because they do it so effortlessly. Right. They're like, oh, that's not a big deal. It's a big deal if it's solving the problem that you have or that someone else has. It is a big deal. So actually taking the time to think about, like, oh, yeah. I remember when I first wrote my first book, and by the way, it was terrible. So I couldn't even, I took it down. I hope you can never find it. But
same with my first book.
But when I wrote my first book, I started to realize that there was something that I knew about writing that I didn't even realize was a gift. People started asking me to edit their books. There were people saying, hey, can you give me your opinion on this particular topic. And as I started sitting and said, okay, well, why didn't you put it in this order? And why didn't you start with an opening story? And why did the solutions were literally on the inside of me, and I didn't realize it. So hundreds and hundreds of books later, helping clients make millions of dollars, no one ever trained me on how to be a publisher. This was a gift that was on me, on the inside of me. So many times, there's so many of you listen to my voice. There are gifts on the inside of you that you don't even understand are gifts. You do it so naturally that you haven't been paying attention. So after you listen to this video, I really want you to take some time to journal, to sit, to think, and sit still and say, wait a minute, what are the things that I do in my everyday life? Like if you ask Noelle 3 stories about real estate, they will come off the top of her head, roll off her tongue, because that is what she does so effortlessly. Some of us are looking like, okay, wait, how did you analyze the property, and what did you see? And to her, it's like, oh, just give that to me. She can literally do it in 5 minutes, something that would take someone else 5 hours, 5 weeks, 5 months. What are the things that you do that take you 5 minutes to do, that take other people 5 hours, 5 months? Those are the solutions that you are bringing.
That's it. That's your gift.
Yeah. So remember the key, and I'm not going to bring that screen up just yet, but remember the key that we talked about earlier. Another key I want you to think about is connecting to the authenticity of your voice. The authenticity of your voice. And I want to just pause there for a second, because a lot of times people say, well, I've never written a book before. So now they want to get a thesaurus, and they want to use all these words that they don't use on their day-to-day.
They don't use. And I think I feel like I've been guilty of that. Not speaking with the way that I speak, you know what I mean? Or trying to, but then when you read my books now, it really is just like in my voice, like how I would say it.
Yeah, absolutely.
People can almost hear my voice, even if it's not an audio book. That's the you're right. Once you kind of really get into your authentic voice, the way you truly would say it, and not try to be, so fancy and thesaurus and dictionary, trying to find, the vernacular of the blah, blah, blah. And people are just like, girl.
You don't even talk like that. Like, who wrote your book?
Exactly. Who wrote that book?
And I think that's why when people, because they meet you in person, they feel like they've already had the conversation with you. So from the videos to the books, because it's so authentic to your voice,
it creates the consistency. It does. It really actually creates the consistency in the brand. When you stay authentically in your voice, from the YouTube to the social media to even the properties, if it all stays in your voice and your brand, it really is just consistent, because it's you. You're not having to fake it or think about who you are. You know who you are.
Yep. And one more thing before because I know we have another portion that we need to get into. I want you, when you sit down, so you're thinking about the solutions, right? The topic that you're going to write, then you're thinking about the authenticity of your voice. I want you then to put the story in order. And we hit a little bit on that with the clarity, but whatever you're going to write about, there is a process and a system. I want you to think about that process and system, because if you don't, your book will be all over the place. I get, as a publisher, a lot of times people come to me and they've already written their book. And they come to me and they're like, here, I'm ready to publish. And I read it and I'm like, chapter 1, I'm like, no, you're not. I don't even know where you're going. Even know where you're going. It's what it's we say a round of editing. Sometimes it needs to be rewritten.
That's true.
Because it does not make sense. It may make sense in their head because they're writing as if they're almost at the conversation like they're having with someone. You ever talk to someone and they're like talking all over the place and then they forget their main point? People write like that.
And here's the thing that I love about working with you. The great thing about it is you actually keep it really organized. So I really have no complaints. Because yes, even if you have thrown away a chapter that I had or an idea that I had, the way you guys, the way your company, your everybody that works on your team, you guys are very kind about how you're saying it. It's never just, oh, this sucks, go away. It's really just like you said, you're smiling. You're like, nope, this isn't coherent to the person. You got to think about it from this perspective. Noelle, Randall, even at this level, this last book, I remember there was chapters or ways that I answered that you were just like, it's going in the wrong direction. This is getting confusing. let me ask you a few more questions and see if we can get these chapters back on track. So it really is an easy process. As much as we're trying, I know you're trying to tell people, yeah, you may have to rewrite something, or yeah, you may have to, you may be scatterbrained. It's a very simple process that you've created, I guess, perfected over the years of dealing with so many crazy people that are just filling their thoughts, that you can get it coherent and get the person to understand, like, okay, let's write a coherent paragraph or chapter that makes sense for the audience and fits in, so that the next chapter makes sense and the previous chapter makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
But, very well deserved.
But we do. I'm very sensitive to people's work, because
it's your art in a sense, and it's your story. Right? Yeah, I get that.
And a lot of times,
obviously, you have worked with it. You because I'm sensitive about my stuff, and you've never made me feel like, what?
Good.
So I know you can deal with anybody.
No, then that's good, because again, we want to get people to the finished product. And the worst thing I can do is to discourage you. You have so many voices in your head. You have people that you shared it with that said, what are you talking about writing a book? You need someone to come along that has the expertise, the guidance, and the professionalism that will help you. And I have talked to other authors that have said they work with other publishing companies, and they're like, they made me feel so bad, my work did. I hate to hear that, so I just want to make sure that as they are connecting, as you're putting your story in order, and I want to jump back to that, you really take the time to break the story down. So everyone, and I don't believe that everyone should write their life story. So this is, and I want to say this is for any type of book you may write, be it a business book, be it an educational book, whatever you're writing on, these things still will apply. You still need to see the solutions. You still need to be clear about what you're saying. You still need to make sure that there is an order of where you're taking the reader. I always talk about this, and I talk about this in the Authors University, the journey of your reader. Journey. Where is your reader starting, and where do you want to get them to? It's like the GPS of your book, the GPS of your story, and having that clarity. So either way, so I wanted to make sure that they had those snippets before we jumped into our offer and the exciting project that you and I are working on. So I wanted to make sure they had that. So let's talk a little bit about the other options. So can you just, I know you mentioned earlier about, working with us and how easy we've made it, but can you elaborate just a little bit on that?
So like I said, I have enjoyed working with Walton Publishing. You've been probably the best publishing company I've ever worked with. I absolutely love the books. It's a great, like you said, it builds credibility, it builds trust, it's built my audience, it's made me lots of money. It, like you said, you can get speaking engagements. It's just so much value in a book. And so when I first started writing books with you, it was books, like this book here, Real Estate Millionaire Secrets, for example, which was all about real estate investing and a lot of the secrets and stuff that I had learned from living in my parents' basement to transforming myself into a multimillionaire with real estate. But as we grew each book with each little experience, I was just like, this is incredible. And I feel like there are so many entrepreneurs that I meet that could be writing books and telling their own stories. And what I find many people, their only issue is they just do not have, it just seems like too big of an elephant to write an entire book. And so I have written so many books and love marketing the books. I have so much expertise in telling people how to market books, how to do this, let's do some things together, and just spreading the word that Noelle Randall is not the only one that, transformed herself from a nobody living in a basement to someone that can do something successful. I know that there are other people with these successful stories. So I was like, Dr. Sherrie, what would it look like if we wrote a book and I was able to write a book with other people and really give them a chance to share all of their different stories, not just Noelle's story, so people can really see, I've helped people that worked at a school as a teacher. I've helped people that worked at school as the cafeteria worker. Both people flipping houses, you know what I mean? Different people that, stay-at-home moms, landscapers, just all different professions. And they all have these amazing stories of what inspired them to do it, what their journey was, how they came upon even saying that they could do this. And now the idea of sharing that with people so that they could be inspired to start taking action and living their life and stepping out and doing what we did and going from homelessness and living in basements to living our best lives and on resorts. It's funny. You came to visit. I was like, you say, girl, I live on a resort. I'm like, right. The same thing when I go to a resort. I'll be like, well, I already live on a resort. Not that big of a deal. But think about that. That's a big deal for us to be able to say that and share that with people and that be our real truth and how inspiring. I know that I have been to others. I've met people that have inspired me. So I wanted to put a compilation together, a project where we're bringing in people that we write a book together and they all kind of get maybe a chapter in the book. This is with different things that I said. And then you came up with this amazing idea that I would love to share with people. And again, this is not going to be for everyone. It's only going to be a limited amount of people that can do this because it's a book. And Noelle is writing this book and this book is coming out. So this is a great opportunity to partner with me, to share your story, for you to work and have a piece of, a book that you can have year after year. This book came out, 4 or 5 years ago? People buy this book every single day. We are still shipping this book out that was written 5 years ago. So a book is an amazing thing that you can sell year after year after year. So I just am so excited about this opportunity. And I can't wait for you to just share it and share some of the details, because I know it's going to be sold out in like a week. And that's awesome as well, though.
Let me tell you, had I had this opportunity that we're going to talk about years ago, I so would have taken advantage of it. The power of partnership, but the power of connecting with someone like you that has literally already done the work. Yeah. It's like, let's just be real. Yeah. You've already done the work. You've already built the brand. You've already built things that now you're making it easy for someone to come along. Right. To be a part of what you've already done, sweat, tears, blood.
My dream, one of my big dreams, like help others, lift as you climb. Yeah. So as I'm going up, just bringing as many people as I can with me.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. All right. And so if you're watching this right now, you can just go to noellerandall.com/author. And that's AUTHOR, author. noellerandall.com/author. We'll also make sure that we put a link into the description box. But this is your chance to become a published author and share your story with Noelle Randall. So we are writing a book and it is called Making It. Okay. And this is going to be about real stories of success, struggles, and strategies for success. So again, we want to know what's your vulnerability. Like one of the things that really skyrocketed me on my YouTube, like you said, is when I started telling the truth about, I used to live in my parents' basement. I was broke and I had bad credit. And this is how I fixed my credit. And this is how I got some money. And this is how and I just would tell those things. And I've met so many people that have had just as great stories. And I'm like, let's put this in a book and tell people that you really can go from struggling, to success. And here's some strategies that we have for you. So this is an opportunity for you to have your own chapter in a book. Okay, your own chapter in this book where you can share your legacy and you can share your expertise. And again, it'll be a compilation book where you will write an entire chapter. I will write obviously a chapter, and this will be a book that we can sell and market together. And that is what an amazing opportunity is. And there's nothing like being a published author. First of all, like why you want to be a published author, I'm actually gonna let Dr. Sherrie share that. I can tell you, I can tell you all of my reasons. Most of them gonna start with money, but Dr. Sherrie got some other answers.
Well, that's tied to mine too.
Why you want to be a published author?
Well, I believe that your story opens opportunity for money. So I'm still connected to that. But I want to go up just one quick second, just a little bit to talk a little bit about when we say shape your legacy with your expertise. Yes. Right here, you see it comes to be a part of this has comprehensive editing, publishing services, and marketing support. So I want to take some time on that for a little bit, because when we talk about writing your story, writing a chapter in this book, we are literally going to hold your hand every step of the way. We are going to make this so easy for you. And the way that we do this is we help you by and we have a process. We're not going to tell you everything on here, because once you get started, then
we'll be here all day. You don't need to know how the cookie is made. You eat the cookie.
Enjoy the cookie. But the comprehensive editing is what I spoke about earlier, is just making sure that someone is able to read over your chapter and make sure everything flows seamlessly. So in other words, we're not just going to stick your story in this chapter. Noelle has an amazing brand. We're going to make sure that this book is on brand. So every part of this is going to be very professional. So comprehensive editing to make sure that your story is polished, and impactful. So what that means is you may bring the story like, okay, I've written my chapter, and we say, okay, can you tweak it just a little bit? I didn't really get the full impact or the full solution. So we're going to make sure that your chapter is in a line. The publishing services, professionally published, which means the layout, the ISBN numbers, the book cover, everything is going to be professionally done and edited. As you see, you've seen the type of work that Noelle puts out. This book is going to be in alignment with that. Marketing support is where I get really, really excited, because a lot of people can write a book, but it's different to actually sell the book.
Right.
There's different
Very true.
where you can create an income, a daily income from the book.
Yeah,
so the marketing
absolutely.
support, you get featured in marketing videos and promotional campaigns, including optional YouTube promotion. And we'll talk about that. So those of you that have been saying, you know what, I want to be on YouTube. I want to, how can I be interviewed by Noelle? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we just gave you
There
an
you
opportunity in this book. Okay. So why become a published author? We've talked a bit earlier today about you bringing a solution to the marketplace. You're getting your story out there. You're connecting with your audience. This is going to be such an amazing tool. This becomes not even just a marketing tool. This becomes an opportunity for you to get in the door. You literally can take this book to be interviewed on podcasts, to create speaking opportunity. This is your, and then when people say, wait a minute, you wrote a book with Noelle Randall, that within itself creates credibility. So even those of you that are up and coming, you're now able to step out there and say, I have connected with an amazing published author that has made millions with her book, and now the same thing is going to rub off on you. I believe that environment is so very important.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
So, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, you said it perfectly. And with all of your just experience, like I said, you're really just jumping ahead of the line. You know what I mean? Because not only have I have an audience and that we can help promote it to, and all of these other amazing things, you're also jumping right into a scenario where this person is experienced with writing books, selling books. So you have like all of this experience between the two of us that you get to come in on immediately. It's like you really got to cut the line.
Absolutely. And I don't think we mentioned it earlier. We kind of slid past it, but this opportunity is only available for up to 15 authors, and we've already had authors already secure their spots. So the inner circle has already been introduced.
Correct. So this is something, if you're actually interested, if you're watching this, click the button right now, okay? Because you need to go ahead and get in there, because it is definitely for a limited amount of people. And every single person that does come won't necessarily be accepted. So it's not like it's the first 15. And so you're not even going to bother clicking on the link. Don't necessarily do that. Click the link, because like I said, we're going to make, we want people that are really serious about this. So maybe you may come in and say you're going to do it, and then we, hear your story. It may not fit. So just don't think that you shouldn't click the link. Click the link. We want to work with people that we think are going to be successful, and we're going to do our best to make sure that this is a very polished and professional and successful book. Like, that is my goal.
Absolutely. And we are looking to do this at the beginning of the year, literally be published in January. And we all know that's when everyone has their New Year's resolutions. So having a book like Making
and hopefully we'll have the pre-orders for Christmas season. Like I said, we have a marketing plan already established. That's another amazing thing that I'm not going to tell you all the sauce, but y'all know Noelle Randall has a marketing plan. I have exactly how we're going to get this sale, how many we should be able to sell, how much money we should be able to make off of this. And like you said, then those other opportunities that will come to you, where if you want to pick up speaking engagements, if you want to go speak at high schools or whatever different things that you want to do, you now have this great lead magnet. So it's amazing.
Absolutely. And you all can actually go back to this page again. It's noellerandall.com/author. You're able to read the success stories. We already know Noelle is one of our amazing success stories. And we want you to really understand the value of this opportunity. Okay. Seriously, this is not something that we're doing just because we're trying to find another way to make money. No, we're really, Noelle, and what I love about you is that you have a heart to see people win. And we understand the amount of not even time, but money that you've invested in your brand. Right. Yeah. So the money that you've invested in your brand, you're giving not only a leg up, you're giving people an opportunity to connect. Okay. So what's included? Let's talk, because we always got to talk about money. We want to make sure everyone understands what's included in your package. This package has been put together to make sure that you all have an amazing, amazing value. So literally, you're literally not even paying a fourth, an eighth
Right.
of what it would take normally for you to produce this by yourself. Okay.
Right.
So you're going to have a dedicated chapter. That dedicated chapter is valued at $4,000 for you to share your story, your expertise. But remember, not just sharing your story, you're now connecting automatically to everyone that clicks on to buy Noelle Randall's books. They will see this book with your name on the back of it.
Yep.
Think about that. So
Think
I don't
about
even
that.
think $4,000 is a real significant value compared to
Right.
what you're really getting. Okay. So comprehensive professional editing, $2,000 value. It takes, especially if you have not written before, you know it's going to take some time to make sure that your chapter is edited and it's professional.
Right.
Transcription service. So
Oh,
this
that is that right there. Like, baby, that is worth all the marbles because whew, I'll let you explain. Because again, writing books has changed. You don't have to actually sit down and type everything out anymore. This is how we can get this done. You have some amazing tools that are just industry leading on how to get things done. So I'll let you keep talking about this one because 4,000 is an understatement of the value. These transcription services and how she helps you and how accurate and how it fixes what you say. So you're not like, that's not in the book.
That is your secret sauce. And can I just really add that I talked to a client last week that she had worked with another publisher. And do you know they published her book just like that? All of those everything was in there. They did not clean it up. And I said, people don't really understand the value of what we actually offer. We're going to make sure not only you do not have to physically sit and type out 5,000 words. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Someone is going to do that for you. We're going to make sure. And even in the age of AI, right? We have to still make sure that it's accurate. Just because you're speaking and it's transcribed for you, you may get this back and say, wait a minute, that's not something I said. So we're going to make sure that we literally go word by word to make sure that it's not only accurate, we fill in any blanks that need to be filled in the transcription service, valued at $4,000. Publishing services, $3,500 value, full publishing from layout to final publication, making your book available to a wide audience. That's on Amazon. That's Barnes and Nobles. That's wherever books are sold, literally around the globe, your book
Amazon,
will be distributed. Books A Million, Walmart.com, Target.com. Wherever books are sold, they will have access to this book. That is valued at $3,500.
Yeah.
But there's more. You know, I like those commercials. They said, wait, there's more.
Well, wait, there's more.
The Authors University. Now, this one is so dear to me because the Authors University is the program that I put together to help you be able to write your book in less than 90 days. You're going to get that. So even though you're writing a chapter in this book, you're going to have the program valued at $2,500 that gives you all of the information as well as the workbook. So when you're ready to even write your full book, you have access to that program. How amazing is that? So
how amazing is that? It is amazing. Like I actually have been through your university and it is amazing. Like not just, it starts with, of course, how you would write the book, but then just narrowing down to pick the topic and just really gets you down where a person literally could go through that course and in 90 days they have a full book. They have a book, not just a chapter. And so you're writing this chapter, you get that, you get all this publishing services, you get transcription service, you get professional editing, and then you get this course that you can just kind of do at your own pace. That's incredible. So now you got the fish on your plate and they done taught you how to fish.
Listen, lifetime access. Absolutely. And not only that, every workbook, everything that I teach my one-on-one clients that pay upwards of $8,500 on up, all of that information is in this Authors University. I have left no stone unturned, as they say. So last but definitely not least, marketing videos by Noelle. $2,000 value. You'll receive professionally produced marketing materials to help you promote your work. And like I said,
So
This
every author
is
in the book basically gets me actually making marketing videos for them and their use. So, you're having your own, okay, again, we want people that have a story to tell. Again, you don't have to be some billionaire or anything like that, but somebody that has a story to tell. Well, guess what? We're going to get you a website. We're going to get you social media. And on those pages, I'm going to have videos that I've made promoting you and your book and your chapter in the book. So that is an amazing value at just $2,000, because it's not something I usually do. Noelle is an amazing promoter of her books and her services and her partners, but I don't usually just go out and promote other people's things like that. But at the same time, when you're in this book, I really feel like this is a true partnership. And that's really what this offer is. It's a partnership with Dr. Sherrie, a partnership with Noelle. We are really partnering and putting this book together. And of course, it does have a cost to us, but it is actually very, very, we tried to just make this as like a no-brainer, very, very inexpensive, where you could get this for less than $2,000, and you could easily, in my opinion, make that back. It is a book, you know what I mean? You literally, I know, I can tell you unequivocally, I make more than $2,000 a week with my book. So don't think that that's not something that you can't do. And of course, I'm going to be here to help you market that book, help you promote it. And again, whatever you want to do it, because it really is, the sky's the limit. Dr. Sherrie, people that have written a book and now they're speaking in China, speaking in Dubai, speaking at universities, speaking at high schools, speaking at youth centers, speaking at, industry leading conferences. So you may be an insurance person and now you have a book, and now you're at an insurance conference speaking at a keynote. So you can get all of this starting at just $1,997, over $18,000 worth of value when you add up all of these things, and you can get started for $1,997. But again, you need to click that now and get started now. There are payment plans available, but again, you actually even have options. You literally can just get ready to be published. Here's your options. You buy it now, $1,997. That's paid in full. Boom, you're on it. In a few weeks, you're going to be on a call with us. We're going to start writing your chapter pretty much, immediately. It's not going to be, 3 months from now or 6 months from now. You're going to start getting emails, and we're going to start putting this together. So you could buy it now at full price. You see that right there. If you look, it says buy now for $1,997. Or you can go see financing options. Maybe you want to do this, but you need to finance this. Or if you want, you can actually take the upgraded option, which we've actually already had someone do. And this is amazing because now you're getting to work with Noelle a little bit even closer, okay? Where you're literally going to be in person or on Zoom with me, where we're recording an interview and really taking that marketing to that next level. 3 months from now or 6 months from now, you're going to start getting emails, and we're going to start putting this together. So you could buy it now at full price for $1,997. Or you can go see financing options. Maybe you want to do this, but you need to finance this. Or if you want, you can actually take the upgraded option, which we've actually already had someone do. And this is amazing because now you're getting to work with Noelle a little bit even closer, okay? Where you're literally going to be in person or on Zoom with me, where we're recording an interview and really taking that marketing to that next level. We're really giving you some more assets that you can put on your website, that I can put on my website, that you can put on your social media, I can put on my social media. So if you want to do the get published and get promoted, that is an amazing value. Okay. That is almost like it's an additional $5,000 worth of value for just a little bit more. So, and both options, of course, have the financing. So again, this is the time. Make sure that you click those links below. We are ready to get started, like I said. And once we actually probably have all of our authors, you may be watching this video and then we're going to take it down, because once we have all of our authors and we're kind of in this, we're not just going to leave this out. Maybe we make another book, we don't want to tell you, you can get in on the next book or you can get in on the next book. No, you need to get in on this book. This book is called Making It. Okay. And so many people are faking it till they make it, but we're just going to talk about how we actually made it, how we actually, and again, how we're making it. We're not done. Noelle is not done with her life and what she's going to accomplish. You're not done with your life and what you're going to accomplish. We're just talking about how we're making it, how we are doing these things that we've already accomplished, and the things that we're working on to keep on making it, not faking it. Because again, when we're writing the book together, we're partners. Now we're having conversations. You're getting to ask me. There could be some great partnerships even beyond this book available if we first partner with this book. So I already have some students that are already signed up. So like we said, up to 15. We're probably not even, it's definitely not 15 anymore, because we already have a few students that are doing their chapters. So I strongly suggest you go to noellerandall.com/author right now. That's Noelle, Noelle, Randall, DALL.com/author, AUTHOR. This is an amazing publishing partnership opportunity with Dr. Sherrie Walton Publishing and Noelle Randall, and we cannot wait to have you involved. We're doing this because we just want to make sure that you have all of the knowledge, all of the resources, and all of the tools that you need to be successful. This is Noelle, to your success.